Da 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 da. DNM with Duzzi.
Okay, I might trademark that. Okay, episode 1, DNMs with Duzzi. First guest. Wow. Well, what can I say? The one and only
Gayle Broughton
from
proud, born and raised from the beautiful Taranaki, Hawara 278.
Wow, represent. And we're on.
Yolza.
Okay, let's rip straight in. So we're going to go quick fire.
Nice.
We'll keep it rugby league related to start with.
Love it, love it.
Okay, favourite rugby league moment as a fan. So what made you fall in love with the game?
Oh, besides the fact that I grew up playing rugby league from like the age of 7, my real first time like falling in love, I have to go. Now this is a bit of a tough memory because so Greg Inglis 2014 solo try, full field.
South.
Yep.
Oh, against the Bronx.
Against the Bronx.
Okay, not a good start.
Ben Barber, you could have made that tackle. Anyway, yeah, that moment, like, I still have that. I remember being in a hotel somewhere with the Sevens crew and watching it live on television and just being like,
yeah, that's one of the greats.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So, yeah, had 100%. To be GI.
Okay, well then, as a player, favourite moment?
Oh,
so far.
Purely for like my own entertainment, it would have to be my try at the Gabba.
Oh yeah, the thriller dance.
Purely just because like I remember being like, what try Sally would I do? And obviously big OBJ fan, so I was like, man, he has some of the best try Sallys. So obviously I took it from him, but I remember telling the girls like, don't touch me when I do the dance, like I have to get through the whole dance. And obviously Romy Teitzel gave me a big
ruined
hug,
everything.
cut me off like she always does.
Typical.
Most
underrated NRLW player. So this could be anyone.
Okay.
Anyone from the comp.
Like, my personal preference on most underrated, I'm going to have to go Scucky.
She's mine.
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah.
God,
100%.
Scucky is like, I find, like, it's just one of those players, especially for the Knights.
Yeah, Shanice Parker.
Sorry. Shanice Parker, everyone. She's super underrated.
Yeah, I agree. I think she has been for many years. Oh, very, and very good defensively.
100%, bro. Like, 100%.
Okay, let's move away from rugby league.
Okay.
All right, shameful obsession. Do I need to give you mine to make you feel comfortable?
No, I'm not ashamed.
Okay, good. Ashamed. That's good.
I think it's a Kiwi thing. Tomato sauce.
Okay. You don't need to be ashamed of that. That's all good. Alrighty, moving on. Childhood hero growing up.
Oh, this was actually a really good question. And it's funny because me and Tar were speaking about it a couple of weeks ago. I didn't have childhood heroes.
Really?
I just had people I didn't want to be like.
Okay, so you had childhood zeros.
Yes.
All right. Well, you don't need a name and shame.
Yeah. No name and shaming, but you know who you are.
Fair enough. Okay, and then we'll round it out. 3 albums for the rest of your life. You can only listen to 3. You know 3 albums or 3 artists. I'll give you that.
Okay. Oh man, that's so hard.
It is so hard.
This has actually been the one question I haven't been able to answer because I'm like, damn. Okay. Chris Brown.
Yep.
Chris
I knew
Brown,
you would say that. You're
100%. Michael Jackson.
One left. This is it. The build up.
I'm like, this is so hard.
It is really hard.
Oh, man. And probably just like one totally random but totally for the sisters. I'm gonna go Lauryn Hill.
Oh, 100%. Miseducation's in my top 3.
Look,
for
you
sure.
You have to.
So, and I gave you the easy way out with artists.
Exactly.
All right, let's rip into some more personalized stuff. So, let's be stupid to not talk about Seven. So we'll just quickly touch on that. I mean, we'll just quickly touch on like a huge portion of your life. Just a brief little thing.
Just nice. Just nice.
So I did a bit of research last night actually and read about like how you got into it, which is really cool. And one of the things that I sort of got from it was like, fuck. So how was it as like a young kid? Obviously you worked very hard to get into the program and then the initial years to get into like the main squad.
Yeah.
How was it moving from a really small town into that environment and then eventually into traveling the world?
Yeah, like it's crazy thinking about it. Like I feel like when I sum it up to people, I'm like, yeah, like 10 years of sevens, but like in that 10-year space, like I was a child who grew up, like I said before, like I didn't have heroes. I had people I just didn't want to be like. And I think for me, like I really grew up with sevens, and I think something that a lot of people don't know or misunderstood is like it's all fairy tale and rainbows. Like I probably should have been kicked out of that team maybe like 4 or 5 times. And it wasn't that I didn't want to be a sevens player.
Yeah. It's
just I never had been taught how to do anything. I never knew how to be an adult. I didn't know what bills were. I didn't. So like from like very like small things, I grew up in that environment very, very fast. And I think the biggest thing is like I was so grateful to have the mentors that I did, like, you know, the Sarah Hiddeneys, the Ruby Tui's, the Niall Williams,
the goats,
the absolute, like, in my opinion, like the world greatest people ever to exist. And I'm lucky that I had them because they, you know, they nurtured me, they helped me, but they watched me grow to the mature person that I like to be sometimes.
Well, that's what's so crazy, like meeting you now, like when I've as a teammate met you, it's like you wouldn't know any of that.
Nah.
Because you're such a good leader, like in a team. So it's crazy to hear like that kind of side of it. What about like traveling the world sort of thing? Like even as like a social thing, traveling to new countries is scary.
Bro.
But like doing it for a sport and like you're a kid, like you said, like that would have been
Bro, I remember
huge.
the first time even just flying out of New Zealand and not like it being Australia. Like I remember just being like, what the F? Like,
yeah.
And then
do you remember where it was?
I think it was Dubai.
Oh wow, yeah.
Like, and we flew business.
Oh!
So like you imagine a young kid from Howder hadn't like, we never did any of that stuff, you know, so it was never in the normal. And like no matter how many years I flew business and traveled the world, like it never was something that I got used to.
That's huge.
Like it was just, it's crazy. And like you'd know how huge it is to travel and how like tiring, but like as a professional athlete, like we got everything done for us. Like we just had to be at a gate, our bags got checked in, we went to a lounge, got fed, got taken care of. Like it's
that is really part of living the dream, I guess.
True God.
Yeah. So you obviously achieved a lot in that sport. Olympic gold, Olympic silver. Do you think that losing that 2016 Olympic Games galvanized your group and made you stronger to get to that 2021 gold?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think it even probably brought a lot of people back to earth in a lot of ways. Me personally, like, I never dreamed of going to the Olympics. Like, that was never like I'm gonna go to the Olympics. That was never a goal of mine. Mine was just to get out of Howder. Like that was the goal.
You've done it.
Yeah, I've done it. I achieved it. You know, and I love home, and I have so much respect for home, and I never shit on from where I'm from. But that was the goal for me. Like it was never to travel the world, and you know, those were just golden things to the sevens. So I definitely think losing Rio was like huge. but like I tell a lot of people, like, I lost my ACL 5 months prior to that.
Yeah.
So I should have never been.
I did read that. I didn't want to get into it because I was like, man, that could be a whole nother.
Oh, bro. Yeah, that's gonna take 2 beers and some
yeah,
time.
that's like 2 hours. That's hectic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, like, wrapping up the sevens part, like, you were probably at the top of your game, would you say?
Yeah.
One of the best players in the world, if not the best.
Yeah.
And then you decided to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Come over here and come to league.
It was crazy, bro. Like, I still remember having the conversation with one of my closest friends at the time, and I remember just being like, man, I used to tell kids, like, all the time, like, you can be whoever you want to be. You don't need your environment to tell you who you can be and who you can't be. You know, like, the world is your oyster. Just make sure if you do it completely with wholeheartedly. Every single part of your body is, like, you know, invested in it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of at a point where I was like, I love sevens, but I don't think it was like I was just kind of doing it just to tick a box.
So you didn't feel like invested?
Yeah, so...
It's actually, like, pretty mature to have had that moment.
Well,
lots of people stay in environments for too long.
Well, it seemed very mature at the time, and then it kind of got to a point where I was like, maybe I'm just delusional. Like, maybe I'm just delusional for walking away from, you know, a full-time career.
Yeah.
But, like, I wouldn't take anything back. Like, I learnt so much since moving to Australia.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the sevens are doing fine. They're doing amazing. They didn't do too good in the weekend, but but they won the series.
Comment on that.
Yeah, we won't comment. But they won the series before that, so this weekend doesn't count. So, yeah.
I mean, they're shaping up.
Yes,
pretty
exactly.
well for another Olympics.
Exactly.
So.
It's not about how you start, it's how you finish.
That's it. So you've come over here now.
Yeah.
You spent a bit of time in Sydney,
Yes.
playing for Para. That's where you debuted.
Yes.
But let's skip over all that because we want to know why the Broncos. So what made you come up here?
Like, respectfully, me and Tar, we were over Sydney.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the lifestyle that we were wanting to live, Sydney wasn't giving us that. From a financial point of view, we hated it.
Facts.
You know, like, you got to pay like $180 just to go through 2 tolls.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I wasn't really doing, like, I was kind of doing like forklift jobs, and that's not really what I wanted to do. So when we kind of opened up to the fact of, okay, Brisbane is on the cards, like, would you be open to that? And I was like, yeah, like, let's get out of Sydney, let's go somewhere. And then I actually spoke with Dest.
Yeah.
So I spoke with Dest at All Stars.
Oh yeah, she recruited. Yeah.
So shout out to Destiny Brill.
Good stuff, Des.
Shout
Love
out.
it.
Scott Prince did not order this. Okay, it was all Destiny Brill. But Dest actually hit me up at All Stars.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Cuz, I've heard through the grapevine that you might be going to
that you're open."
Yeah. And I was like, between me and you, okay, I'm pretty keen to come to the Bronx, but like, what do you like? What are your thoughts? And she goes, nah, like, I believe this is a really good club, and I really think we can create some like beautiful things. And I was like, love that. I said, I
love that she recruited you in her first year as well.
Yeah, bro, like crack up
10
her.
out of 10.
And like full like. She was just full like, but you know, like, you do whatever you want to do, but I'm just saying, like, the Broncos...
Do what you want, but...
like, the option's yours, but, like, it's really not. Hurry up and come to Broncos. So, obviously, I had to go back to the boss, Tar, and I kind of had to be like, okay, these are the options, this, because, as you could imagine, everyone wanted a piece of the pie, but at the end of the day, I kind of got that option of, okay, where do we want to go? And Tar was like, look, I'm pretty keen on Brisbane. She had her best friend here, you know, but my thing was, probably the only thing really keeping me in Sydney was probably my family.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to sort of ask about that because you didn't really have many people up here compared to Sydney.
Yeah. So I'm grateful now. I've got, you know, lots of my cousins, some of my bros. I've got my oldest brother that lives here. So I've got like quite a bit of whānau now that live here.
Yeah.
But like down in Sydney, you know, like my mum's there, my oldest brother, my nephews that I absolutely love and adore, you know, my sister-in-law, and just so many of my family that like, and even some of my best mates, you know, that live in Sydney. But it was kind of like had to be real selfish around there. And okay, Brisbane was offering, like, it's not that we spoke footy, because I feel like a lot of the teams that I spoke with, they either spoke about, you know, what they can do for me, what they can give me. But when I actually spoke with Princey, like, he was kind of like, how you doing? Like, how's life? Like, how's it been for you?
Good stuff.
Yeah, and it was really refreshing because they didn't start with the whole like, we can give you the world.
Yeah. So you felt like it was genuine.
Yeah, like it was just a good old conversation. So I really appreciate, like, it seemed small, but to me it seemed like a huge thing. And like I said to the boys, like, footy was never about a financial thing. Like, fuck, I'll play footy for free. Like, honestly.
I mean, if we're, you know, trying to make millions, we wouldn't be female athletes.
100%.
That should change.
That'll change, okay? That'll change brick by brick. But and then I moved here. Well, I hadn't moved here yet, but they flew me up one day, and I got to meet Ellie. And Kate. And they showed me around the club, they showed me around Brisbane. I even like met some of the fans here on my contract.
Yeah, that's
day.
awesome, eh?
And they were just like, we hope you sign here, like, we're so excited for you if you do come. And I was just like, yeah. And then they showed, like, oh man, I just fell in love with the city straight away. And the people, that's the thing, like, I'm a huge people person, and just the people, not even around this club, but just in the community, are just such awesome people, bro.
It is a good vibe.
It's such a good vibe.
So speaking of Dest in All Stars camp, how was All Stars for you? Because I think that every person I've ever spoken to about that experience, or in either team, says it's the best thing ever.
Oh, bro, it's beautiful, because obviously a lot of these girls, like, I was quite lucky. I grew up in New Zealand, so I experienced my culture like literally every day. A lot of the girls that live over here, they don't really get to experience what we experience back home. So to have a whole week of the girls just being indulged in their culture and who they are, where they come from, like, it's such a beautiful thing to not only be a part of, but to witness. And there's this thing, every day, like on a meeting, we would say our pepeha, so it's kind of like our family tree. And it's crack up because, like, it's a Māori thing, like, say, like, oh, ko Taranaki te maunga, so Taranaki is my mountain, and like someone else would say it, you're like, oh, so cousins. You know, and it's like, oh, your mum's from da-da-da. So it's like, it's so cool because you actually start to kind of draw the lines to who your cousins are and who you're related to. But
you're connected to. Yeah, that's so cool.
Bro, I love that experience, like, and it was probably like, now that I actually think of it, like, I probably actually rate that weekend over the Gabba experience of, like, my favorite.
Oh yeah, to circle
like,
back.
actually thinking out of it, like, just being able to go home. And I was lucky because a lot of the years it's either been in Townsville, So my first year, obviously, we played in Rotorua, and it's like,
so you got a home game
packed,
too.
bro. Like, cousins, all my bros came, Ta was there with her family, my family were there, like, and it was just cool to have representation. Because it's so huge, bro. Like, I don't know the percentage of how many Māori, Pacifica, Indigenous kids that play in the NRL and NRLW.
Oh, it's massive.
It's huge. So the more that those kids can see that there's representation of, I can be there.
I also think as, like, someone who's, like, not Māori or not Indigenous, like, we should be, like, investing in those people that invest in our sport. Like, that, like, your people give a lot to us
Yeah.
by being in the game. So like, why
100%.
would we not have a weekend like that? So I love all sorts. We'll wrap it up with, so you've started working with the foundation, Mental
Yes.
Awareness Foundation.
I can sit and talk about this one.
Yeah, well, give us a bit of a spiel what they're about. Gee, wow.
So the Mental Health Awareness Foundation is a foundation connected to the Broncos. Fun fact, I actually met the CEO on our fan day here at the Broncos Club.
True. Yeah.
I have like this thing where I just like walking around and meeting all the foundations and like just getting to know everyone. And I met Raywin, the CEO, and we just like kicked it off. Like we were just talking. And
That's cool.
she was just like, I'd love to, sit down for a coffee and talk about what we're about. And like legit a month later, she emailed me and said, let's go for that coffee. And I said, yeah, lock it in. We went for a coffee and she just spoke about her own journey about mental health and kind of what the foundation was based about. So 2 brothers created the foundation in their garage.
Yeah.
And it's obviously like
That's
excelled over the years, like huge. But just even their values as a foundation is huge, and it's hugely connected to why I wanted to be a part of their team so much. But it's just about being a supportive voice for people. They've lost people to mental health. I've lost people to mental health. I've had my own journey through mental health, and it's not something that people can still talk about till this day. Like, it's actually real crazy, but my thing is like, if I can at least start the conversation of mental health, whether you believe it's real or you believe it's not real, either way, both perspectives are valid, and I just want people to know that they're just not alone. Like, trust me, I was that person that was like, nah, just harden up, like you can get over it, like it's not that big of a deal, until you actually have to deal with those demons, and then you're kind of like, okay, this is real as can be.
Once it becomes really serious, it's almost
it's
like
huge. And that's why I said like a couple of weeks ago in one of my posts, like, let's chat about it, like mental health.
I love that post. I love that you're really, really raw.
It's
on your socials.
You have to, bruh.
Follow her. It's good.
Gee Fizzle.
Gee Fizzle, that's right. Okay, we'll wrap it up, eh?
Yeah.
So I got 2. So I'm going to do a do's and don'ts section.
I did like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a scenario.
D-U-Z. Do's. Okay.
So do's and don'ts section of the following scenario for Gee Fizzle.
Okay. I'm going to put my seatbelt on. So
no, it's not that deep. Okay, you've been sin binned. So this is a rugby league related one. You've been sin binned on the field. And that, have you ever been sin binned?
Not in league.
Okay. That's good. Don't make this a thing. I always get asked from like fans and people that I know, like, should you run off or should you walk off? So like, where does your head go for that?
Okay. Man.
Okay, and I'll give you the scenario. Say you're up 16-12 and there's 5 minutes left and you've been sin binned.
Oh, walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
5 minutes left on the clock. I'm a snail.
Yeah.
I'm literally dragging my feet as long as possible. I might even stop and have a conversation with someone on the field just to be like a smart ass, but
you want to give people rest.
Exactly.
I'm the same.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was early on,
yes, then I'm sprinting. I'm beelining for that. Well, you know what's funny actually? I never knew that if you got yellow carded in league that you have to run. Well, you don't have to run, but you have to go to the changing rooms.
It's weird.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
in rugby, you just have to sit on a chair on the sideline.
So I was sin binned once in an NRLW game, and you literally go to the sheds and no one's there. So I was like just staring at the wall, like, what the and the TV wasn't even on.
Oh.
So I literally was just standing like, no, I couldn't even sit. I was just like, what the?
There has to be some sort of like support process around that. Like,
it's weird.
I would be like, I would be honestly like thinking demons in the changing room by myself.
It was not a good day.
Like, are you allowed to go to toilet? Like, what's the rules?
I guess.
About that? Like, what is?
I guess you can.
Like, if you leave, does the time stop? Like, I have so many questions.
It's something to look into. Anyway, all right, let's finish. Give me a rugby league ick.
Oh. When players, actually no, because it's not even just like a rugby league, it's fucking like Australian sport, bro. Why do you put ribbons in your hair? Why?
That's such a good one.
Why I want to know, why do you put ribbons?
Yeah.
You are not a cheerleader. Okay? Take fucking pom-poms and off the side.
That is so good. And I don't have an answer.
Bro,
I don't have an answer for that.
Look, if you want to, like, okay, sorry. If you do wear,
there'd be someone in our team that
I'm so sorry. I'm not singling out anyone. I just want to know, like.
It is weird. It kind of makes you look like a present.
You know, no, I've got two. Why the fuck do girls get their lashes done? I want to know. Doesn't that shit come off?
Yes, it does. Haven't you seen people after games and they've got like 3 lashes?
No, you know what? Sorry, I just answered my own question. You know what?
Jeez, this is
look good, feel good. Look good, feel good.
You can't say that after you just shamed everyone.
People are probably like, why do you cut your hair the way you cut it? Nah, sorry sisters, sorry.
Oh, that's fun. The ribbons is good. That's a good question.
I have so many questions why people wear ribbons.
I don't know, we should investigate that. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Thank you. Guest 1. Some diabolical answers. DNMs and Duzzi, wrapping it up. We're in the car, obviously, by the way, so this is the studio. Gee Fizzle. Thank you.